Well, good morning, all you lovely people. Welcome back to the grumpy old git in the corner on a Tuesday. That's a little bit of blue sky out there, but apparently we could have some rain. Before I start today, I'd like to thank all of you that dropped in on the live last night. First time doing a midweek one, just for an hour and a half or so. Went really well. Thank you for Dan for popping up. Bit of support on the panel. Made it a really enjoyable evening. So we will do that again, guys. Absolutely. But there was one thing that I missed on last night's live. And that was of the living wage in yesterday's statement. Or as I prefer to call it, the survival wage. Well, that's going up by £1. Yeah, wow, whole pound. But that's just one little bit of miss, but enough about that. We talked about plenty of that last night and what was involved and what people thought about it. But let's just say it was a statement that was really about those with money. Us, the normal man in the street, we won't gain a lot out of that at all. But anyway, moving on to today. COVID 2.0. Beyond Partygate, the inquiry continues. And will do for some weeks with the people they've got lined up. Some big names. You've got Boris, obviously, Bumbling Boris, and our resident rodent, Roland. He's got to appear. Well, they started actually slating Sunak yesterday. Well, I say slating. Some things came out. Don't forget that back then he was the Chancellor, so he had his pen over the checkbook. And he said that he had informed the so-called scientists, Sage, Valence, Whitty, Van Tam, about this Eat Out scheme that he was running. And apparently he hadn't. I mean, Whitty, the weasel. I mean, he said...
Boris Johnson says, quote, it was properly discussed, including with Chris and Patrick. Do you agree with that? Or not?
On this one, neither Patrick nor I can recall it.
He didn't know. And then we had... oh, God. Van Tam. He hadn't heard it, and nor had Patrick Valence, and this is what he replied.
There's Patrick Valence and Sir Chris Whitty. Were you involved in that?
Absolutely not. The first I heard about it was Think on the TV.
Yeah. But there you go. It's all starting to come out, as I said, but there are some more porkies being told by Roland, methinks, there. But just as any of them would, actually. And then Van Tam, this one, he tried to play the victim. Yes, in a way he was, but this was also provoked by the chair into saying this. And this is what he had to say on threats that were made to him. And it was also made into others in the little group as well.
Did not expect my family to be threatened with having their throats cut. I did not expect the police to have to say, will you move out in the middle of the night?
They do like playing the victims, don't they? But the actual session finished off with a little statement from the chair, Mrs. Chairwoman in there. And this one was an absolute doozy as far as I'm concerned.
The vast majority of the population abhor such conduct, and we are enormously grateful to you and your colleagues for the way in which you served the public of this country, of the whole of the United Kingdom, in a time of national emergency.
So the public should be grateful to them. What do we should be grateful for them for? Losing loved ones? Because of their bad decisions? They're covering up, they're lying? And people that are still losing their loved ones, would they show as much support for them? I wonder how many of the public would say that now. You know, think about it, the uptake for the continued advice and your winter rounds of whatever has dropped. The demand for it has absolutely tanked. Now, whether this is right or not, don't take my word for it, but I heard a word that there was only about a 5% take up. But the inquiry will continue. As always, it's a lot to go through because it's on all day, every day. And there's 2 modules, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And in the description, why it's ongoing, I will always post the link to those, which are the full live versions, so you can go and watch at your leisure if you want to. But bear in mind, it's a long, long watch. But I will put the links in the description. Any other news? Well, yes, there's some changes on the laws around drones again. In particular, the sub 250 gram drones, which I believe are the ones that a lot of people use. So if you fly any of those, it's well worth a visit to Greek Geek Varna's channel, who put out a live stream yesterday or the day before covering all the new laws on that. Now we've got this one. Now this was reported yesterday while we were live. Now if you watch the top of the screen at the white car coming in at speed, now this was on the Canadian border with America. The car exploded on impact, killing both occupants, injuring some others, but the occupants of the car were the only fatalities. At the moment, the authorities are kind of ruling out a terrorist attack, although that's what they were looking into. The way it burned, it looked more like a fuel fire, so I don't think it was an electric car. But the guy definitely tried to make the corner at that speed if you look at the video. So quite what happened. But he absolutely failed. I mean, the Dukes of Hazzard would have been proud of that one. I shouldn't have joked about it being there was fatalities involved, but we don't know the ins and outs. And that's what I saw. But yeah, and we will just have to wait and hear what happened. Unfortunately, we're going to have to do the same here with the 4 young lads that lost their lives in the car accident the other day. The police have said it could be an accident, or more likely to be an accident, but again, they don't know how or why. The car obviously ended upside down in the river. Wasn't all that deep by the looks of the clips I've seen. But we'll have to wait and see to the results on that. On that sad note, I'm going to end. Please bear those 4 in your thoughts today. It's not a nice thing, no matter what the situation was. And there's 4 families that are going to go through Christmas very shortly without a loved one. I know particularly how that feels because I lost my father in November several years ago, and so I know how it can kill Christmas. But anyway, people, there won't be a video tomorrow. I'm going to take some time to myself, but I will do the normal live for a few hours tomorrow afternoon from 4 o'clock onwards. So you're all welcome, obviously. It will be a zero tolerance stream again. But, as always, until then, thank you for supporting this little channel. It is appreciated. And stay safe. Stay strong. Stay free from these idiots in power. Respect, people.